In Switzerland altogether there are 12 consumption centers at a time. There is one in the French part, there is none in the Italian part, like the 11 are in the German part of Switzerland. The principles of our tasks are still guaranteed, like the low threshold drug services to guarantee the guarantee of data protection, the formation of an interdisciplinary team. The offer, though, has changed, or rather is in a constant changing process. I do think, like, as far as I'm concerned, I believe one of the main risks of having a lot of experience and having already achieved a lot of things is to slow down and feel all settled. That's why it's, for us, it's like very important and interesting to visit other DCRs in other countries as well, just to get new inputs, like to improve our programs, not to get into a stagnation. So, which adjustments, considering the changing patterns of consumption and needs, have been made? First of all, in response to the growing popularity of cocaine over the last 10 years, as well as a shift from injecting to inhalation. Inhalation rooms came in operation in 2002. Since then, all of the 4 centres have such a room available. Actually, the biggest centre in Zurich has just recently extended their inhalation room. For the majority of the users developing an addiction to cocaine, breath depressions due to overdosed heroin injections became rare. At the same time, the abuse of alcohol amongst the users became very common. Due to combination of drugs and alcohol, specifically the impact of cocaine on one's mental status, we have had to deal with more psychological problems and emergencies. This development indicated a different attitude on our part in terms of further education in psychological care, for example. That keeps us busy, actually, really. So we deal more with violence, for example, than with overdoses due to heroin. The influence on our main goal, the harm reduction. The goals of our harm reduction, again, is to help drug users to survive drug abuse with as little damage as possible, to stabilize the drug user's health and social situation, and to avoid social exclusion and support social integration. Based on the improvement of the sanitary condition of the people concerned, as well as the social integration, the need for basic survival support and harm reduction has reduced. Still, we provide corresponding offers such as laundry, showers, clothes exchange, meals and beverages, basic medical counselling and assistance. As it was not fully used by the majority of our visitors anymore and no longer compulsory, a free space emerged, which we filled with an enlarged program in social support, counselling and triage. We particularly collaborate regularly with other services and institutions. With the increase of professionalism, the whole department became more bureaucratic. About half of the regulars have a counsellor amongst the professionals of one of the centres, and an increasing number are committed to case management. Like stating that a couple of years ago, we couldn't even imagine like people giving us like their real names and dates of birth because it was as low threshold when we just started. This is a real improvement. The staff of all the contact centres, about 70 employees, consist of professionals from social work, psychiatry and medicine. Still, the access to the contact centres remains. Okay, thank you. Remains low threshold, as formerly we had written not abstinence but acceptance oriented. We can still proclaim so, and today work more towards commitment, bindingness, and personal development. So, talking about the target group again, the most important people in all that. As mentioned before, what we consider our main target group hasn't changed over the years. So we still address to adults from 18 with residence in the city of Zurich, long-term users of heroin and cocaine, socially marginalized users, socially integrated users as well, users with mental health problems, and first-time users of whom we try to place to the street workers. Still, the group altogether is less homogeneous. People with a migration background build a large group. This constitutes a challenge in terms of language, cultural background, and often trauma due to war experiences. Formerly, drug abuse and addiction was more an issue of the middle class. As time shows, it has become more and more an issue of people living in the lower class. How are the DCRs affected by the financial crisis? Well, actually, we are in a very comfortable situation. We are actually hardly affected. At the current time, we have neither reserves nor can we hope for fringe benefits. It's just the status quo. However, because the funding body of the contact centers of Zurich is the city of Zurich, we have financial stability. Concerning the users, we can't see any significant changes in terms of the amount of daily consumptions. Based on the numbers we survey monthly, we assume they aren't noteworthy affected. So, last, which changes and challenges are due? In the near future, we intend to aim for advanced offers in medical care, such as methadone-assisted treatment. There is a program that has taken place this year for half a year in one of the centers. It was evaluated last month and now integrated to the program of one of the centers. Interferon therapy. This is a project that's going to be taking place most probably next year under the patronage of the National Professional Association. NADA acupuncture, consultation hours for specific topics, as for example dental care, gynecology, wonderful word to pronounce, and nutrient counseling, for example. In reference to the enlargement of the social work, we want to go more into the methodical upgrading of the methodical work with counselors and case managers, individual, goal-oriented, solution-oriented, cross-linked, and integrative. Further, we aim to check on the possibility to get measurement contracts with Zurich surrounding municipalities to enable those users to access the centres as well. This would obviously have an impact of the numbers of visitors again. And, well, last but not least, big issue, we want to broach the issue of consumer behaviour more, as we have found that we are still quite reluctant towards that subject. And the big challenge used to be, most probably will always be, is to be aware of the cultural change that has already taken place but still hasn't experienced full acceptance. So that was it. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Janine.